there's a lot to talk about as far as comedy and people being angry and all that shit. I mean, I've been following along with this Legion of Skanks, Louis J. Gomez, Louis C.K., and a bunch of shit open micers that have a problem with the fact that Louis went to the Legion of Skanks show at the Brooklyn Bazaar over the weekend and destroyed the place. Just fucking, it was awesome. The crowd couldn't have been happier to see him. And he performed. He did a great job. He's a funny motherfucker. And of course, it's dangerous.
Well, the best part is the Brooklyn Bazaar, wwho got a shit ton of business from this festival, released an apology saying they had no control over having him on premises, and their staff could do nothing about it because by the time they found out, it is too late.
It was like
and
fucking
everyone was raped.
John Dillinger came in. Yeah. And everyone in the place was raped.
Yeah, that's what
it was crazy.
We didn't know he was going to be there. Dicks out, fucking everything against their will.
It was nuts. They put out a statement that said, we didn't know he was going to be there. He came in a side door, and by the time we realized, trying to remove him would have put our employees in danger because the stoned Legion of Skanks crowd would have pummeled you.
Yeah, because it was so moral to have a room full of fucking every illegal narcotic on earth and a bunch of comics saying the worst shit imaginable, and now you have Louis involved, and it's like, well, guys, this is too much.
Yeah, the funny part of this also is that the Brooklyn Bazaar hosts a lot of hip hop shows.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever heard some of the words and seen some of the actions of some of these rap stars.
Well,
despicable people.
I don't recall anybody in that community, Chris Brown, hurting somebody for any reason. I can't think of one time.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of any violence that's ever been caused, Tupac, Biggie, involving in that community. So,
but Louis, that's a problem when he goes up there and makes an entire room of people laugh their asses off.
Chris Brown is still selling out stadiums.
Yeah.
Pull up a picture of Rihanna's face. Just pull it up.
Oh, God, that was must have been a fucking hell of a punch.
Beat the fuck out of her. And
yeah.
everybody's fine with that. And Louis, which is my story versus yours.
Yeah,
and what's odd about Louis is, what was dangerous? Was he just going to start... The worst thing he ever did was supposedly... Look at that.
Yeah, that's this guy. This guy shouldn't be able to perform anywhere.
No, he's a piece... And this isn't the only woman he's abused. And look how bad he fucked her up.
And if you try to give him shit online, his fans will just come at you like you're a fucking piece of shit.
Right, and I'm sure Rihanna really appreciates it.
I'm sure she does. Yeah.
She's hot, though.
Her eyes still look so magical, even with all the bruising and bleeding.
Got a twinkle.
Broken capillaries and whatnot.
God, that's just so sad.
He's a piece of shit.
And it sells out everywhere. I remember I was actually in Vegas when I saw that he had like a residency. This is like a couple years ago, and I'm like, is that the Chris Brown who brutally fucking attacked Rihanna?
Yeah, what? I don't know. And all of his girlfriends have a residency at the Cook County Hospital.
Yeah,
it's a resident.
There's a battered women's shelter where they're all getting cooking lessons.
So yeah, they're giving Louis J. Gomez and Legion of Skanks and of course Louis C.K. all kinds of shit, and the people that are doing it are just spineless, unfunny, know nothing about comedy. If you saw that place full of people, and I was commenting on this before because, of course, if you put Louis on, you're a misogynist and you're a bigot and a Nazi and all the other shit. And Louis made a good point. It's like it was the most diverse crowd you'll ever see. And it's real diversity. Like, this was all kinds of people of varying sexuality, color, race, religion, all that shit put in there under the umbrella of we like comedy.
That's it.
That's it. It wasn't forced. It wasn't some fake politician activist throwing people together behind him. Look how diverse for some agenda. It was real diversity. The diversity that happens naturally because a bunch of different people have something that they share in common. The love of comedy.
Yeah, and that they can take a joke, and they love that kind of
That's it.
that we were talking about yesterday, that equality in comedy, that everybody there, doesn't matter, gay, straight, trans, black, white, Mexican, they're all fucking there,
Right.
trying to have a good time, and they all got up. I love how they say he got a standing ovation. It's like, in a lot of these, it's like, no, he got a standing ovation when he walked out.
Yeah.
Not when he left. He didn't even earn it. You know what I mean? That's how happy they were to see him.
Just see him in the room because they're sick of it. Because people that understand comedy and what it is, where it came from years ago, they understand what it's all about. This bullshit concept that comedy needs to be safe and that if you're in a space where a comic is punching down or making fun of a group, that space is now dangerous. It's so mental.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense. It's not true. It's the conjurings of mental patients and emotionally damaged people. That's who says shit like this. Because a comedy club, a room with a cutting edge, funny comic has never been safe for anybody. Physically, of course it's safe. But if you think that it's dangerous to hear something that you find offensive, then it's never been safe. And that's the way comedy's always been. It's the way it's supposed to be. And no fucking gussied up tart that stands in front of an open mic is going to tell anyone anything different.
You kind of couldn't. Yeah, it's perfectly put. Here's the part that I don't get either is these open micers and these people going out there, like. Okay, what have you achieved in your life that you should stand on a stage and tell everybody else how to live theirs?
Yeah.
I even see that as a professional comic. I'm like, some of these people are doctors. Just do your goddamn jokes.
Do your doctor
Right, they don't need your life advice, you fucking asswipe. They came here to not think about all the shit in the world.
I think the unfortunate thing is, I think a comedian, like, all you need to be a comedian is to say you're a comedian.
That's the shittiest
part.
part.
That is the weirdest fucking thing.
Dude.
Anyone could just go, what do you do? Hey, I'm a comic. Oh, that sounds interesting. No, you're not.
No, I remember, and it's so weird. Like, even now, people are like, "Yeah, it's full time, huh?" And you're like, "Yeah, what the fuck?" And then with young open micers, there's like an entitlement. Like when I started, and I mean, this is a long time ago, but there's a headliner, a feature, a host. You work your way up. There's a hierarchy, a respect. You go to the club and you watch a headliner, so you kind of say, "Oh, I see how they do. The way they might command a room. They might, what is
learning
the difference in cadence." You don't see young comics come to clubs and watch.
No, because they're dangerous spaces.
They're on Twitter telling people like Louis C.K. how to do comedy.
You're right. They just stand in front of an open mic at some club where they all hang out there and sit at a table that they think is the table at the cellar or something. Yes. And they talk about how they're entitled to be able to go up there and just spout unfunny nonsense about Trump or their own insane political angle on things. There's no jokes to it. It's just, they actually feel entitled, like they have an entitlement to get up on that stage, call themselves a comic, and then talk into an open mic, and then get on Twitter and bash the likes of Louis C.K., Louis J. Gomez, funny motherfuckers that have been in the business.
And it's insanity. Like, you do see a few of them that are young when they walk in a room and they're like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of you." And you're like, "What? That's weird." And but when you were young, like, you were always kind of looking at the headliner, even if they sucked or weren't known, like, you kind of just saw, like, maybe, hey, this guy tips the waitstaff at the end of the week.
There's a reason
or is really nice. Yeah, what is it about him or her that bring him in? Like, there was always something in this business. And now the entitlement has just completely taken over to where you instantly think that you're were on the same playing field as Louis C.K.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's like
he says he's a comic, and I'm of course a comic because I said I am.
Yes, he made millions of dollars that we took away 2 years ago and can't stop kicking him while he's down.
Imagine being able to do that. Just go, what do you do? I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm a doctor.
I could do that, right? I go into the courtroom and I just start spewing shit, and then the judge is like,
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're talking about. No, but I am entitled to be. It's the same fucking thing. You can't just say you're a comic.
It's the best example because it's like you watch Law and Order and you're like, nah, I got it.
Yeah.
Just go in there.
And then you're talking about a lawyer that hasn't lost the case. That guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Objection. And they're like,
Oh, yeah.
you can't. It's totally legal.
That courtroom's a dangerous place. Shut up. I'm so fucking tired of it.
I am a neurosurgeon.
Yeah. Oh,
I am. I don't know if you know
Get
that.
on in there. We have open skull night.
Yeah, I just come on in. I can't actually prescribe you anything, but if you drink a bunch of whiskey, it won't hurt as much while I cut your head open.
Yeah, welcome to open heart night, where we'll all be taking a chance on trying to do some heart surgery.
Don't worry, you can do it because you told people you can.
You told people, and you seem entitled.
Just bring 6 friends or they won't let you in.
Right, it's a bringer operation. They just don't understand that work, and I think that's the key. A lot of people, and I hate to sound like, you kids, but there are a lot of younger people that don't seem to understand that work is part of becoming something. You can't just call yourself it and you're that. And it goes with everything. College, they want to take these shit fucking social justice courses and then pop out the other end with an amazing multi-gazillion dollar job and then have their loans forgiven for them. And there's nothing going on right now is telling the younger generation that is transforming from a youngster, a student, whatever, into the real world. Nothing is preparing them for that world. There's no amount of work or motivation to do anything and to reach a goal because of something you attained. They want it immediately. And they want to be looked at like they're great at whatever they just call themselves.
Absolutely, 100%. And there's like this learn to code thing or something where it's like, look, people are always going to take shits. You're always going to need a plumber. You're always going to need people with real jobs. And people don't want to do those jobs. And they look down on it when they're fucking amazing jobs. People in skilled labor are fucking incredible to me.
An amazingly lucrative job opportunity that anyone can get into.
And then they say, yeah, learn to code. It's like, well, that's easy for your generation. The same as my generation wasn't sure what computers were going to... What's going to happen when you can't do that anymore?
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you can't do that anymore? Like, people don't want to work and earn something. And I started working when I was 13 at my dad's baseball field. The day that my dad thought I was old enough to work, I was fucking cutting lawns, doing shit, everything, you know?
Yep.
So I just think that there is something missing with that where there's no ability to earn it.
No one wants to earn anything or work towards it. And it shows in things like you want to get a job, but you want a retard job. You want to go to McDonald's.
Right.
And then you want to cry that you want to make $15 an hour at McDonald's. Instead of actually working at a job, going through the procedure that it takes to work yourself up to a living wage, as they like to call it, instead of just getting any shit job and going, I can't live on this. Give me more money. Well, that's why there are other jobs. That's why there are things in between McDonald's and fucking Bill Gates.
Right.
There's a fuckload in between there.
A lot of it is networking and not being a piece of shit.
Not being an asshole.
Getting people to like you. I mean, seriously, I think teaching my son to golf is as important as sending him to school. It's fucking networking. It's getting to know people. It's not like that's all of that is a part of business.
A lot of schooling for kids, at least when I was when I was being brought up, was barely about learning stuff. You learn the basics by the 5th grade, you know your basic math and English enough to actually get through life. It's amazing. But then after that, it's all about socializing.
Absolutely.
The whole thing is about, and some of that was painful, both physically and mentally, to deal with other people and realizing that we don't all think the same. We don't all find the same things funny or offensive. And some people will not like you in life.
It's just how it is.
And sometimes there's just no reason for it. Not like Kevin Brennan, where there's an absolute reason why people don't like him. But other people, they just people that don't like them. I don't know what it is. But with the way things go nowadays, there's none of that. There's none of that part of being thrown into the real world, life. Sorry, kids, that's not college. Real life. And having no concept of how human beings interact with each other.
And I think it's also that there's that delusion of grandeur where I remember when I was young and I walked into a wealthy person's house and I was just like, what the fuck? You got like a Lamborghini in the garage and pools and you're just like, holy shit, you know, but you see that it's like something this person's worked really hard to obtain.
Yeah.
Where now you're being fed that constantly on a networking system, on a phone where you see all this lavish stuff. You think that's the way that life is. You're seeing these illusions of people's perfect life. No,
Twitter or YouTube stars that are your age that have amazing cars now, and you're like, well, why can't I do that?
yeah, it's not. It's an exception to the rule.
Yes.
And that's what they start to believe that it is the rule, and that's not actually how that works. And
So far from
it's like,
the rule.
and every single time you see somebody's great life, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna put the fucking fight with your wife where you call her a cunt onto Facebook, but you'll put the family Christmas card.
Right.
You know, everybody has pratfalls, and they want something. And I think what's problem is we've lost that socializing. And I think that's a lot of the problem with what's going on, because everybody, like, who the fuck has the right to be safe all the time?
No one.
Who gave you that right?
It's not a right. It's not something that happens. It's completely unrealistic in humanity that you are always to be in some safe space. I know damn well a lot of the people that go on the internet and just shit talk everybody and bully or whatever you want to call it would never do this to people's faces. They're incapable actually approaching somebody and saying just noxious shit to someone's fucking face. It does. Unless, of course, you're Kevin Brennan. Then you would do something like that. But you wouldn't do that. It's the technology has also done a lot to really fuck up the way people treat each other in society.
Well, and I think it's interesting how you said, like, certain entitlement and, like, even dating apps, for example. It's like you being able to fuck whoever you want because your face matches. Like, there was a thing to getting to know somebody, dating them, having your heart broken.
Right.
Learning that life isn't always how you want it.
Consequences.
Yeah, to actions. Like, little stuff like that.
You learned.
Yeah, and now if it's being picked apart, you get to the point where it's like, I'll tell Louis C.K. how to do comedy, because everything I've ever said has been validated for no reason.
Did you ever walk, you're in a club or a bar or whatever the fuck, you see a girl, you drink enough to work up enough fucking nerve to go over and actually try to start a conversation with her? Because this is all we had to meet a girl and hopefully somewhere down the line get your dick in her pussy.
That was it.
It's something. So you'd go over there and you ever walk away from that situation pouring sweat, feeling like you're on fire and just going, I will never say that again. I will never approach like that again. That was how you learned. Yeah. It was such a fucking mark, such a fucking whip on your back. You never forgot it. You learned it, and then you tried again.
And if your friends loved you, they did not support you. They made you feel worse about what you just did.
Oh.
They speak, what happened? Did the tag on her shirt not say it was made in heaven? You fucking asshole.
We used to, like, see if one of my buddies, Adam or Joe Curry or something, was walking over, I would just sit there and go, like, grab my beer bottle and go, Mayday, Mayday! I'm going in! I cannot eject! I'm on fire! He's walking over. Fuck you, asshole!
Bullshit. I always would love, or you get the occasional thing where you would watch your friend, like, be able to buy him a couple drinks, and then the girls walk away. You can see that all night. Girls can get free drinks.
Pick the
all
little
night.
drink up.
Oh, thanks.
And then walk away like, you fucking ass.
Or, oh my God. Or will you send those girls a couple drinks on me, and then they come back like they don't want them.
Yeah. They don't want to. Oh, is that a bad one? Yeah, they, do you want it then? You? Yeah. Can I go home with you tonight, sir?
Yes. Oh, I guess I'm going to stay here drinking. And then you didn't.
It makes it so now you can't even look at half the bar.
Right, and then
because you don't want to even turn your head.
And you couldn't just call an Uber on your phone. You drove home.
You drove home like a man. With just no sense of fucking self-worth and
depth perception
and a 2-3 blood alcohol level.
And you learned there were consequences to your actions, whether you made it home and you may have just slid into a parking cone.
Right.
Something.
It doesn't matter. Those were the days. It's they're just, I don't know. It's affected society. When this shit first came out and we really first started with this, there were a lot of questions as to how it will affect society. How will these technological advancements and communication affect society? And no one really would know. You'd speculate. And people are still asking that. Like, how will technology affect society? It's already doing it. And I think you got enough information now to see where it's going to carry. We are despicable lumps of shit just on this very program. But humanity as a whole is really, we're not cut out to be able to communicate with everybody anytime you want. It's just we're not made for it.
We're
too bitter and jealous and vindictive, and we see someone with something and we want to attack it and attack them. It's just the way it is.
Some people's natural inclination is to just attack, and a lot of your own natural inclination is going to be jealousy. There's just people that have enough self-worth over time to combat that.
To not then have to lash out and shit all over someone that actually has something going on.
Right. It's not like you see somebody, you're not like, oh, I wish I had that. You do, but then you try to work to obtain it. But now there's this idea of like, let's take it away.
Take it away. Yeah. The instant gratification.
It's insane to me. To the idea of that we're taking all these people down, other people down, and then people don't feel validated in their own lives, and that's what you're saying is then they get online, attack certain people. That's how they feel validated. Like, I want to be a radio host, so I have a smartphone, and I'm a psychopath. And
it is amazing because most of the people that are the most like horrible that say and do actually horrible things using the internet and other social media and whatnot are failures. And I've seen some research of people that have been personally vindictive against myself and my family and whatnot.
Oh, sure.
And they are always failed comics, radio people, or musicians. Every single fucking case.
And there's a rare trifecta.
Yeah, and then a rare trifecta.
It's the king of all shit.